Tom, can you check my period app? I feel off and can't remember my last cycle. Lisa's voice drifted from the living room couch where she lay curled up, clutching her stomach. I set down my coffee and walked over, taking her phone. 23 years of marriage, 2 kids, and we'd weathered everything together. Or so I thought. Looking at her there, even in discomfort, she was still beautiful. The same honey blonde hair I'd run my fingers through on our wedding day, though now with elegant streaks of silver she refused to dye. The same green eyes that had looked up at me with tears of joy when I proposed at her favorite restaurant, right after my residency ended. We'd been so young then. Me, fresh out of medical school with loans up to my eyeballs, but dreams bigger than Texas. Her, teaching 3rd grade and making peanuts, but loving every minute of it. We'd lived in that tiny apartment near the hospital, eating ramen and dreaming of the future. When we have money, she used to say, curled against me on our second-hand couch. Let's never forget how happy we were with nothing. And we had been happy, deliriously so. Even when I worked 36-hour shifts and came home too exhausted to speak. Even when her father died suddenly our 2nd year of marriage and she cried for months. Even when the fertility struggles started. God, the fertility struggles. 3 years of trying, testing, hoping. Temperature charts and ovulation kits and scheduled intimacy that felt anything but intimate. The first miscarriage nearly broke us. The second one did break us for a while. I still remember holding her on the bathroom floor, both of us sobbing for the future that wouldn't be. Then, miraculously, Sarah, our miracle baby, born during a snowstorm while I was stuck in surgery. I'd run through the hospital corridors in my scrubs, bursting into the delivery room just as my daughter took her first breath. Lisa's exhausted smile when she handed me our baby. I'd never seen anything more beautiful. 2 years later, Michael came along easier, as if Sarah had paved the way. Our family felt complete. We bought this house, the big colonial with the wraparound porch Lisa had driven past for years, dreaming. I'd surprised her with the keys on her birthday, watched her cry happy tears in the doorway. What am I looking for exactly? I asked, opening the Flow app she'd pointed to, shaking off the memories. Just when my last period was. Maybe it'll explain why I'm feeling so weird today. The interface was simple enough. A calendar view with various colored dots and symbols. Pink dots marked period days, green for ovulation, and purple hearts. My finger hovered over one. What are the purple hearts? I started to ask, but Lisa had dozed off, her face peaceful against the throw pillow. I clicked on one from last week. The screen changed to show details. March 15th. Intimate note. Morning plus afternoon. Incredible. My stomach lurched. March 15th. I'd been in Dallas at a medical conference. 3 days of seminars on new surgical procedures. I remembered calling Lisa that morning, telling her about the keynote speaker. Miss you, she'd said. Bed's too big without you. My hands trembled as I scrolled through the calendar. More purple hearts. So many purple hearts. March 16th. Intimate note. Better each time. March 17th. Intimate note. Quickie before work. I sank into the armchair across from her, my legs suddenly unable to support me. The phone felt like it weighed 100 pounds in my hand. Stay calm, Tom. Think like a surgeon. Gather data first, diagnose later. But my mind kept racing back through our marriage. When had we started drifting? Was it when I made department chief and my hours got longer? When she went back for her master's degree and started working with new people? We'd had rough patches, sure. What marriage doesn't? The year I was sued for malpractice, a surgery that went perfectly, but the family sued anyway. Lisa had been my rock then, sitting through every deposition, holding my hand in court. When we won, she'd organized a huge celebration, invited all our friends. Or 5 years ago, when her mother was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. I'd rearranged my entire surgical schedule to help with care, driving her mother to appointments, researching facilities. Lisa had cried in my arms so many nights, grateful for my support. "You're my anchor," she'd whispered. "I don't know what I'd do without you." When had I stopped being her anchor and started being what? An obstacle? An absence to work around? I scrolled back a month. February had Purple Hearts too, all clustered around my Chicago trip for the hospital board meeting. January showed the same pattern. Purple Hearts during my visit to Mom in Florida after her hip surgery. 6 months. I forced myself to go back 6 months, screenshotting everything with mechanical precision. Every single business trip, every overnight call at the hospital, every family emergency, marked with Purple Hearts and star ratings like some twisted Yelp review of infidelity. April 20th, intimate note. Needed this today. Best stress relief. April 20th. Dad's heart attack. I'd spent 18 hours in the cardiac ICU, praying he'd make it through surgery. Lisa had said she couldn't come because someone needed to stay with the kids. I'd understood. Supported her decision. While I held my father's hand, wondering if I'd ever hear his voice again, my wife was giving someone 5 stars. The bile rose in my throat. I stood carefully, phone still in hand, and made my way to my home office. Each step felt surreal, like walking through water. I closed the door and pulled out my laptop. One by one, I forwarded the screenshots to my email, then to my cloud storage, then to a new folder labeled simply Evidence. My phone buzzed. James Crawford, my lawyer and golf buddy. "You free for 18 holes this afternoon?" I stared at his message, then typed, "Emergency. Come to my house, now. Use the back door. Everything okay?" No. Bring your lawyer brain, not your golf clubs. While waiting for James, I continued documenting. The app was remarkably detailed. Not just dates and ratings, but duration, notes, even mood tracking afterward. Lisa had turned her affair into a comprehensive database. May 5th, intimate note, emotional day. He knew just what I needed. May 5th. Uncle Robert's funeral, my mother's brother, the man who taught me to fish, to tie a tie, to be honorable. I'd delivered the eulogy while Lisa sat in the pew, apparently planning her next 5-star encounter. The back door opened quietly. James's face appeared in my office doorway, concern etched in every line. "Tom, what's going on?" I turned the laptop toward him, watched his expression change from confusion to shock to professional calculation as he scrolled through the evidence. "Jesus Christ," he whispered. "She documented everything?" Every single time. My voice sounded foreign to my own ears. Flat. Clinical. 47 times in 6 months. All while I was gone. All rated. James sat down heavily. "In 20 years of divorce law, I've never seen anything this comprehensive. She basically built your case for you. I want to send her a text. Let her know I know." "Can you?" "I'll witness everything. Do it." I picked up my phone, fingers steady now. Surgeon's hands that had saved lives, now typing words that would end a marriage. "Your period app is very detailed. Who's getting 5 stars?" I attached one screenshot. April 20th. Dad's near-death day. Sent. The read receipt appeared immediately. Lisa's status went from active to typing again. My phone rang within seconds. Speaker, James advised. I'm witnessing. Tom, where are you? What are you talking about? Lisa's voice was high, panicked. I'm in my office with my lawyer. You're on speaker. Want to explain the 5-star ratings while I was at my father's bedside? Silence. Then, barely audible. What lawyer? Hi, Lisa, James said calmly. James Crawford here. I'm looking at your activity log. Very thorough record keeping. Tom, please, let me explain. Explain what? The ice in my voice surprised even me. Morning plus lunch? Better each time? Star ratings like you're reviewing a restaurant? It's not. Those are what, Lisa? Workout notes? Because last I checked, you haven't been to the gym since January. Though, apparently, you've been getting plenty of exercise. I heard footsteps running through the house above us. Where are you? Tom, we need to talk face to face. Check the office. The door burst open. Lisa stood there in her comfortable Saturday clothes, the ones I'd bought her last Christmas, her face draining of color as she saw the laptop screen filled with her digital diary of betrayal. Tom, it's not what it looks like. It's exactly what it looks like. I clicked through more screenshots. You've been with someone every time I travel, and rating the experience. Who does that, Lisa? Who rates their affair? She stumbled to a chair, legs giving out. I can explain. Please do. Explain January 10th. I'm at my mother's funeral, Lisa. Burying the woman who loved you like a daughter. And you gave someone 4 stars. Only 4? What happened? Off day? I'm giving my mother's eulogy while you're disappointed in your side piece's performance. Stop. Tears streamed down her face. Please stop. February 28th, 5 stars. Best yet. I was presenting to the board for our hospital's expansion. The presentation that secured funding for the children's wing. While I'm fighting for kids with cancer, you're handing out 5-star reviews. James spoke quietly. Mrs. Mitchell, you've documented approximately 47 instances of infidelity, with ratings, times, and notes. This is the most comprehensive evidence of adultery I've seen in my entire career. I want a name, I said. Who's been earning these stars? Lisa's shoulders shook with sobs. Does it matter? Does it matter? My fist hit the desk, making everyone jump. You've been reviewing him like a restaurant on Yelp. Yes, it matters. I have a right to know who's been in my bed, in my home, with my wife. It's Derek, from my office. The name hit me like a physical blow. Derek? Derek who came to our Christmas party? Derek whose kids play with ours? Derek who I helped move into his new house? She nodded miserably, unable to meet my eyes. Derek. I'd carried his couch up 3 flights of stairs, had beers with him in his new backyard. His wife Miranda had sent a thank you card with a picture of their family. Get out. The words came out quiet, controlled. What? Get out of my house. I stood, using every ounce of control not to punch the wall. James is witnessing this. You have 1 hour to pack essentials. The rest goes through lawyers. You can't just kick me out. This is my home, too. James cleared his throat. Actually, given the documented infidelity and the house being in Tom's name from before the marriage, he can request you leave immediately. Where will I go? Ask Derek. He's 5 stars, right? I'm sure he has room. Maybe his wife will even help you unpack. The cruelty in my voice was foreign to me, but I couldn't stop it. 23 years of love, trust, and partnership reduced to star ratings and scheduled betrayals. The kids will stay here, in their home, with the parent who didn't turn their marriage into a review site. I pulled out my phone again. I'm sending these screenshots to myself, my lawyer, my cloud storage, and a backup drive. Every single one. You can't share those. That's private medical information. Private? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. You documented your affair in an app, Lisa, with ratings, with notes about how good it was while I was watching my father code on an operating table. You gave up privacy when you turned infidelity into a 5-star system. She fled upstairs. I heard drawers slamming, hangers rattling. James and I sat in silence, organizing the evidence into chronological order. This is ironclad, he said finally. No judge will side with her after seeing this. The premeditation, the planning, the complete disregard for the marriage. She rated her affair, I said, still struggling to process it. Who does that, James? Who gives star ratings to cheating? Someone who never expected to get caught. The app probably felt safe, private. Her own little secret diary. An hour later, Lisa dragged 2 suitcases down the stairs. Her face was blotchy, makeup streaked, but I felt nothing. The woman I'd loved was gone, replaced by a stranger who rated adultery like restaurant meals. This is my home, too, she tried one more time. Was, I corrected, was your home, until you turned it into a review site for Derek's performance. The kids, what will we tell them? The truth. Age appropriately. Mommy made bad choices and needs to live somewhere else for a while. Maybe Derek's house has 5-star accommodations for you. She left sobbing. I watched from the window as she loaded her car, each movement familiar yet foreign. The house felt empty with her gone. Not peaceful. Empty. I walked through rooms filled with memories now tainted by betrayal. Our wedding photos on the mantle. The kids' artwork on the fridge. The kitchen where we'd cooked thousands of meals together. My phone buzzed. Sarah, our daughter, home from college for spring break. Where's Mom going with suitcases? Come home. We need to talk. Dad? What's wrong? Just come home, sweetheart. The conversation with our children was the hardest part. Sarah, 21, sharp as a tack and studying pre-law. Michael, 19, quiet and thoughtful, home from his sophomore year in engineering. They sat on the couch where Lisa had handed me her phone just hours earlier. Your mother and I are separating, I began. She's been involved with someone else. What? Sarah's face went white. Mom's having an affair? Had. Past tense. It's over, and so is our marriage. Michael spoke for the first time. How did you find out? I explained carefully without the graphic details. Their faces cycled through shock, anger, disgust, and finally, a horrible understanding. She documented it? Sarah's pre-law mind was already working. She actually kept records? With ratings, I confirmed. Like Yelp reviews. That's... Michael struggled for words. That's sociopathic. Your mother isn't a sociopath. She made terrible choices and documented them in a terrible way. But she's still your mother. This is between her and me. Sarah wasn't having it. She cheated while Grandpa was dying. While you were at Grandma's funeral. That's not just terrible choices, Dad. That's cruel. The weeks that followed were a blur of lawyers, paperwork, and managing the kids' emotions. Sarah threw herself into research, pulling up every case she could find about digital evidence in divorce proceedings. Dad, did you know in New York, a woman's Fitbit data proved her husband was lying about his whereabouts during his affair? And in California, a guy's Uber receipts showed a pattern of visiting his mistress. But this, Mom creating a whole rating system, This is unprecedented. Michael, quieter by nature, processed differently. I found him in the garage at 2 a.m. working on his car. Couldn't sleep, he said when I joined him. Keep thinking about all the times Mom said she couldn't come to my robotics competitions because she had school obligations. Was she with him then too? I couldn't answer. I didn't know how deep the betrayal went. You know what gets me? He continued, not looking up from the engine. The ratings. Like, having an affair is bad enough. But rating it? Writing reviews? That's just twisted. People do strange things, I said carefully. Sometimes they compartmentalize so much they don't realize how their actions look from the outside. Did you suspect anything? Before, I mean. I thought about it. Had there been signs? In retrospect, maybe. The new clothes. The increased focus on her appearance. The way she'd been protective of her phone lately. But I'd attributed it all to her new position at work, the confidence that came with her recent promotion. No, I admitted. I trusted her completely. Michael finally looked at me. How do you trust anyone after this? I didn't have an answer for my son. How do you explain that trust is a choice, one you have to make despite the risk? That the alternative, living in suspicion and fear, is no life at all? The legal proceedings began in earnest 3 weeks later. James had assembled what he called a shock and awe package, every screenshot organized by date, a timeline showing my whereabouts for each incident. Character witnesses lined up. Her lawyer's trying to negotiate, James told me over coffee. Wants to keep this out of court. No. Tom, mediation might be faster. No, she made this public the moment she put it in writing. Stars and all. Let the court see what she did. The first hearing was for temporary orders. Judge Harrison, a no-nonsense woman in her 60s with steel gray hair and sharp eyes, reviewed the evidence with increasing incredulity. Counselor, she addressed Lisa's lawyer, a nervous young man named Bradley. Am I understanding correctly that your client used a period tracking application to document and rate extramarital encounters? Your Honor, my client's personal health data should be protected. Counselor, I've been on this bench for 30 years. I've seen text messages, emails, credit card receipts, even GPS data. But I have never seen someone create what amounts to a Yelp review system for adultery. She pulled up the April 20th entry on her tablet. 5 stars. Needed this today. Best stress relief. Mr. Mitchell, where were you on April 20th? Riverside Methodist Hospital, Your Honor. ICU. My father had a massive heart attack. He was in surgery for 6 hours. We weren't sure he'd make it. The judge's face hardened. And Mrs. Mitchell, where were you? Lisa, in a conservative black suit I'd never seen before, whispered something to her lawyer. My client was at home with the children, Bradley said. With the children. The judge's voice could have frozen fire. Was Derek Harrison, I assume that's our 5-star recipient, also with the children? No, Your Honor. So the children were where exactly while their mother was earning these ratings? More whispered conference. At school and aftercare, Your Honor? I see. So while Mr. Mitchell watched his father fight for his life, Mrs. Mitchell arranged childcare in order to conduct and subsequently rate an extramarital encounter. Is that accurate? Lisa's "Yes, Your Honor" was barely audible. The temporary orders were swift and harsh. I retained the house in primary custody. Lisa got supervised visitation pending the final hearing. Supervised? Lisa's lawyer protested. My client isn't a danger to the children. No, Judge Harrison agreed. but she's shown spectacular judgment failures. Until I see a psychological evaluation and proof she's addressed whatever led to this behavior, visits will be supervised. Next case. Outside the courthouse, Lisa tried to approach me. James stepped between us. Tom, please, 2 minutes. Anything you need to say goes through lawyers, James said firmly. I'm sorry, she called over his shoulder. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I did it. The ratings, I mean. It was like it wasn't real if I didn't record it. I stopped walking, turned back. Not real? My father almost died, Lisa. That was real. My mother's funeral was real. Our children are real. Our marriage was real. The only fake thing here was you. The kids struggled with the new reality in different ways. Sarah channeled her anger into her studies, writing a thesis proposal titled Digital Footprints in Divorce: How Technology Changed Marital Law. She interviewed divorce lawyers, judges, even IT specialists. Did you know, she told me one evening, that 92% of divorce cases now involve some form of digital evidence? But yours is being taught in law schools already. Professor Martinez called it the Mitchell precedent. Great. My failed marriage is a teaching moment. Dad. She sat beside me, the same serious expression she'd had since childhood when working through a problem. It's not about your failed marriage. It's about accountability. Mom thought technology would hide her secrets. Instead, it exposed them. That's important. Michael's reaction worried me more. He withdrew, spent hours coding, building apps. One night, I found him beta testing something on his laptop. What's this? Trust Tracker, he said. It aggregates data from multiple sources, credit cards, phone location, app usage, and flags suspicious patterns. All with consent, of course. Both partners have to opt in. Michael, I know what you're going to say. That I can't build an app to fix trust. But Dad, if people are going to cheat, at least their partners should know. No one should have to find out like you did. The final divorce hearing came 6 months after discovery. By then, the initial shock had worn off, replaced by a grinding determination to get through it. Lisa had hired a new lawyer, an aggressive woman named Patricia Stern, who specialized in high-conflict divorces. Your Honor, Stern began, we're not disputing the infidelity. However, we believe the court should consider the context. Dr. Mitchell was absent for significant portions of the marriage due to his career. Objection, James interrupted. Dr. Mitchell's work schedule doesn't justify documented adultery. Sustained. Miss Stern, unless you're arguing that absence equals consent to infidelity, move on. Stern regrouped. The use of private medical data. Miss Stern, Judge Harrison cut her off. I've already ruled on this. The app data is admissible. Your client documented her own behavior. The fact she chose a period tracker instead of a diary doesn't grant her special protection. The evidence presentation was methodical and damning. James had created a PowerPoint, each slide showing my location and Lisa's corresponding app entry. January 10th, Dr. Mitchell at Riverside Memorial Cemetery, delivering his mother's eulogy. Click. Mrs. Mitchell's entry, 4 stars. Note, good but rushed. February 14th, Valentine's Day, Dr. Mitchell in surgery, emergency pediatric case. Click. Mrs. Mitchell's entry, 5 stars. Note, romantic afternoon. March 2nd, Dr. Mitchell at a medical conference presenting on innovative cardiac techniques. Click. Mrs. Mitchell's entry, 5 stars. Note, tried something new. Incredible. With each slide, Lisa sank lower in her chair. Several times, the court reporter had to ask her to speak up when answering questions. Character witnesses painted 2 different pictures. Mine spoke of dedication, integrity, a man who'd never missed a school event despite his schedule. Hers spoke of loneliness, a woman who felt abandoned, who'd made a terrible mistake. Then Derek's wife took the stand. Miranda Harrison was composed, articulate, and devastating. I found out the same day Dr. Mitchell did. Derek had been deleting texts, but he forgot about his tablet. Everything synced. Their conversations about meeting times, about being careful, about ratings. Ratings? Judge Harrison, no relation despite the name, leaned forward. They had a system. She'd rate encounters in her app. He'd respond with emojis and texts. 5 stars got 5 fire emojis. It was like a game to them. Lisa's lawyer tried to object, but the judge allowed it. It speaks to pattern and intent. Miranda continued. The worst part was finding out about April 20th. My father-in-law, Derek's father, had just been diagnosed with cancer. While I was comforting my children about their grandfather, my husband was earning 5 stars from Mrs. Mitchell. The financial testimony was equally damaging. Forensic accounting revealed Lisa had opened separate credit cards, used for hotel rooms, dinners, gifts, all while I paid the household bills. So Dr. Mitchell was essentially financing the affair? The judge asked. Indirectly, yes, the accountant confirmed. By covering all marital expenses, he freed up Mrs. Mitchell's income for other activities. Lisa's psychological evaluation was perhaps the most revealing. Dr. Jennifer Park, a court-appointed psychologist, testified about her sessions with Lisa. There's a disconnect, Dr. Park explained. Mrs. Mitchell seems to view the physical acts separately from the emotional betrayal. The rating system appears to be a coping mechanism. By gamifying the affair, she could avoid confronting its reality. Is she fit to parent? The judge asked. With therapy and supervision, yes, but she needs to address the compartmentalization that allowed this behavior. When it came time for Lisa to testify, her lawyer tried to paint a picture of a neglected wife driven to desperation. How many nights was Dr. Mitchell absent in 2023? I don't know exactly. Many. And how did that make you feel? Lonely, abandoned, like a single parent. But James's cross-examination was surgical. Mrs. Mitchell, on January 10th, where was your husband? At his mother's funeral. Did you feel abandoned when he was burying his mother? No, On April 20th, where was Dr. Mitchell? At the hospital with his father. Did you feel abandoned when he was watching his father fight for his life? That's different. Is it? You gave Derek Harrison 5 stars that day. Was that because you felt abandoned, or because you saw an opportunity? Lisa broke down crying. I don't know why I did it. The ratings, the notes, it was like if I documented it, I could control it, make it less real somehow. Less real? Mrs. Mitchell, you created a detailed review system. You turned adultery into a 5-star scale. That seems very real. I know how it looks. How it looks. Mrs. Mitchell, you wrote new record on April 14th. What record were you celebrating? I don't remember. James pulled up the entry. 5 stars. New record. Your husband was in court that day, defending himself against a malpractice suit. A case where he saved a child's life but was sued anyway. While he fought for his reputation, you were setting records. What kind of record, Mrs. Mitchell? I don't know, Lisa sobbed. I don't know why I wrote that. The judge had heard enough. The final ruling was comprehensive and harsh. In 30 years on the bench, I've seen many forms of betrayal. But this court has never encountered such a methodical, documented pattern of deception. Mrs. Mitchell didn't just have an affair, she created a rating system for it. She scheduled encounters during her husband's most vulnerable moments. She gave 5 stars while he buried loved ones, saved lives, and fought for his career. The court awards Dr. Mitchell the marital home, primary physical custody of the minor children, and 75% of marital assets, excluding Mrs. Mitchell's teaching pension. Mrs. Mitchell will have supervised visitation for 6 months, pending completion of therapy and a follow-up psychological evaluation. Furthermore, given the extraordinary nature of the evidence, this court orders Mrs. Mitchell to pay alimony to Dr. Mitchell for a period of 5 years, acknowledging that his career supported her ability to conduct this affair. Mrs. Mitchell, you turned your marriage into a review site. Now you're experiencing the consequences of those reviews. Court is adjourned. Outside the courthouse, Lisa made one last attempt to speak to me. Tom, please. I know you hate me, but the kids will be fine. They're strong, smart, and they have a father who puts them first. You'll see them during your supervised visits. Work on yourself, Lisa. Figure out how you became someone who could rate betrayal while I held my dying father's hand. I loved you, she said quietly. Despite everything, I did love you. No, I said, finally feeling the anger I'd suppressed for months. You don't rate someone you love. You don't give stars for destroying what they cherish. You love the idea of me, the doctor husband, the nice house, the comfortable life. But love? Real love. You don't even know what that means. The kids began their own healing process. Sarah threw herself into student government and her thesis, turning our family tragedy into academic excellence. She started dating a nice young man from her ethics class, after making him sign a mutual transparency agreement she'd drafted herself. It's not legally binding, she told me, but it sets expectations. Full access to each other's devices, monthly relationship check-ins, and absolute honesty about feelings before they fester. That's thorough. I watched Mom document betrayal in a period app, Dad. I'm going to document trust in a relationship contract. Michael's app took off in unexpected ways. What started as a bitter response to betrayal evolved into something more positive. Trust Tracker became less about catching cheaters and more about promoting transparency. Couples used it to share locations, expenses, and schedules openly. It's not about spying, he explained to a tech reporter. It's about choosing to be open. My mom hid everything. This helps couples hide nothing. As for me, the first year was about survival. Surgery, kids, and processing the end of what I'd thought was a solid marriage. Therapy helped, especially understanding that Lisa's behavior wasn't my fault. You could have been perfect, Dr. Rothstein told me, and she still would have cheated. This wasn't about what you lacked. It was about what was broken in her. 18 months after Discovery Day, I met Carol at a medical conference. She was presenting on pediatric cardiac innovations, brilliant and passionate about her work. We bonded over shared experiences. She'd been through her own divorce after discovering her ex-husband's gambling addiction. He hid it well, she told me over coffee, until I found the casino app on his phone. Lost our house, kids' college funds, everything. Mine had a period tracker, I said. Rated her affair? 5 stars. She laughed, then caught herself. Sorry, that's not funny. It's a little funny, in a tragic, what the hell way. We took it slow. Dinners when our schedules aligned. Medical conferences where we'd attend each other's presentations. 6 months before our first kiss. I need you to know, I told her early on, I have trust issues. Not with you, but in general. I'd be worried if you didn't. We both do. That's why we're going to be extra careful with each other's hearts. The kids liked her immediately. Sarah appreciated Carol's directness, her willingness to discuss boundaries openly. Michael was impressed by her tech savviness. She actually understood his app and suggested improvements. 2 years post-divorce, life had found a new rhythm. The kids were thriving. Sarah in law school, Michael selling his app to a major tech company. Lisa completed her therapy and progressed to unsupervised visitation, though the kids remained distant. She tries, Sarah told me after a particularly awkward dinner with her mother. But every time I look at her, I think about those ratings. About Dad holding Grandpa's hand while she was, you know, she's still your mother. I know. And I'm working on forgiving her. But Dad, she rated it. Who does that? The story went viral after someone leaked the court documents. #5-star divorce trended for weeks. Think pieces analyzed the intersection of technology and infidelity. Reddit threads dissected every aspect. My favorite response was a tweet that said, "Imagine destroying your marriage and rating it like DoorDash delivery." Derek arrived on time, was hot, 5 stars, would definitely order again. I even left my own review on the App Store. Great app! Helped me track my wife's affair with incredible accuracy. The note's feature and star ratings provided excellent evidence for my divorce lawyer. 5 stars. The review went viral too. Comments poured in. King behavior. The way I would have launched her phone into the sun. Not the period tracker becoming the affair tracker. Bet Derek doesn't feel so 5-star now. 3 years later, at Sarah's law school graduation, I watched my daughter receive her JD with honors. Her thesis on digital evidence in family law had been published in 2 journals. She'd already been hired by a top firm specializing in high-tech divorces. "None of this would have happened without you, Dad," she said, hugging me after the ceremony. What do you mean? I found my calling because of what we went through. I'm going to help other people navigate the intersection of technology and betrayal. Make sure no one else gets blindsided by a 5-star rating system. Lisa attended the graduation, sitting several rows back with her sister. She'd lost weight, aged considerably. The confident woman who'd handed me her phone that Saturday morning was gone, replaced by someone who looked perpetually apologetic. After the ceremony, she approached cautiously. "Tom, the kids look wonderful." "They are wonderful, despite everything." "I know you'll never forgive me." "I forgave you a long time ago, Lisa, for my own peace." "But forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, or trusting, or wanting you back in my life beyond co-parenting." I think about that day all the time. If I hadn't asked you to check the app, you'd still be giving out 5-star ratings. The only thing you regret is getting caught. She started to protest, then stopped. You're right. I was so deep in my own justifications, my own world. The ratings made it feel like a game instead of destroying our family? Yes. She looked at our children, laughing with their friends. I see a therapist twice a week. I'm trying to understand why I did it, why I documented it like that. And she says it was about control. I felt out of control in our marriage, with your schedule, with getting older. The affair made me feel wanted. The ratings made me feel powerful, like I was in charge of something. You were in charge of plenty. Our home, our children, our life together. But that wasn't enough. It should have been. Tears ran down her face. It should have been everything. I destroyed everything for what? Ratings? Stars? A man who ran back to his wife the second we were caught. I felt a flicker of the old sympathy, the urge to comfort her. But too much had happened. Too many five-star betrayals while I fought to save lives and honor the dead. The kids are adults now, I said instead. They'll decide what relationship they want with you. I hope you find peace, Lisa. Real peace. Not five-star reviews of it. That night, Carol and I celebrated Sarah's graduation at our favorite restaurant. We'd been together 2 years, living together for 6 months. No apps tracking anything except shared grocery lists and calendar appointments. I have something to ask you, she said over dessert. And I want complete honesty. My stomach tightened. Okay. Do you trust me? Really trust me? Or are you always waiting for the other shoe to drop? I thought carefully. I trust you, but I verify. Not because of you, but because of me. I check receipts not because I think you're lying, but because I need to see them. I share my location not because I think you're suspicious, but because transparency feels safe. Is that okay? She reached across the table, took my hand. It's more than okay. It's honest. We both have scars, Tom. Mine make me obsessively check bank balances. Yours make you screenshot everything. We're damaged, but we're damaged together. That's the least romantic thing anyone's ever said to me. Want romantic? I love you. I love your trust issues and your screenshot habit and the way you still flinch when you see period tracking app commercials. I love that you're broken in ways that complement how I'm broken. And I love that we're building something real, even if neither of us will ever be naive enough to not document it. I laughed, really laughed, for the first time in years. I love you too. 4 stars. 4. She pretended outrage. What do I have to do for 5? 5 stars are reserved for life-changing moments. Meeting you was only 4 3/4. I'll take it, but I'm aiming for a full 5 by our wedding day. I nearly choked on my wine. Wedding? Eventually. When we're ready. When the kids are settled. When it feels right. No rush. But Tom? When I propose, and yes, I'm proposing when the time comes, I promise not to rate it in any app. 6 months later, she did propose. At a medical conference, right after I'd presented a paper on innovative cardiac procedures, in front of 500 colleagues. Dr. Thomas Mitchell, she said, taking the microphone, you've shown me that trust can be rebuilt. That love can exist after betrayal. That 2 people with more baggage than an airport can still fly together. Will you marry me? I said yes. The room erupted. Someone started a standing ovation. Later, Sarah asked if I was really ready to marry again. Your mom taught me what I don't want, I told her. Carol's teaching me what I do want. Honesty, transparency, a partner who faces life with me, not one who escapes to 5-star ratings when things get hard. Just no join apps, okay? She was only half joking. Separate everything, I assured her. Except maybe a shared calendar for scheduling. No ratings allowed. The wedding was small. Family, close friends, a few colleagues. Lisa wasn't invited, though she sent a card wishing us well. Derek and Miranda were both remarried to other people, their 5-star affair a cautionary tale in their social circle. Michael's best man speech was perfect. My dad taught me that trust isn't about blind faith. It's about choosing to be vulnerable, even when you know how much it can hurt. Carol, thank you for helping him choose trust again. Dad, thank you for showing us that even 5-star betrayals can't break a good man. Sarah, as maid of honor, was more direct. Carol, if you ever download a period tracker, we're checking it monthly. Dad, if you ever travel for work, we're installing GPS directly into your spine. Trust, but verify, am I right? The room laughed. Carol and I laughed. Because sometimes that's all you can do. 5 years after that Saturday morning when my life imploded, I stood in my backyard, our backyard, watching Carol teach Sarah's boyfriend how to properly season a steak. Michael and his fiancée were setting the table, debating whether his trust app had helped or hurt modern relationships. It's not about the technology, Michael insisted. It's about what people do with it. But you're enabling surveillance, his fiancée countered. Making paranoia profitable. Or I'm enabling transparency, he shot back. Making honesty easier. I smiled, remembering my own debates with Lisa about work-life balance, about trust, about what we owed each other. How certain we'd been. How wrong we'd been. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Tom, it's Lisa. I know I have no right to contact you, but I wanted you to know I'm getting married again. He knows everything. Saw all the court documents before our first date. Still wanted to try. I won't be documenting anything this time. No apps, no ratings, just living. I hope you're happy. You deserve to be. Despite everything, you were a good husband. I was just a terrible wife. I stared at the text for a long moment, then deleted it. Some bridges, once burned, didn't need rebuilding. Some people, once revealed, didn't need revisiting. Everything okay? Carol appeared beside me, sliding her arm around my waist. Everything's perfect, I said, meaning it. Absolutely 5-star perfect. She laughed. Am I ever living that down? Never. When we're 90, I'll still be asking you to rate your dinner. 1 star, she said, kissing me. Terrible service. The waiter hasn't even taken our order. Management apologizes. How can we improve your experience? Less talking, more grilling. Your daughter's boyfriend is about to ruin a perfectly good ribeye. We moved toward the grill, toward our family, toward our life. Behind us, in the house, my laptop sat closed on my desk. No screenshots needed, no evidence to gather, no ratings to check. Just trust. Verified daily by actions, not apps. Measured in moments, not stars. Built on honesty, not hidden in technology. The Mitchell method had evolved. Always check the apps? Yes. But more importantly, always choose partners who make checking unnecessary. And if someone offers to rate your relationship, run fast, run far, because love isn't a 5-star system. It's either there or it isn't. And if it isn't, well, there's probably an app for that.